Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is 401 Solstice 25, or you can just call me Solstice for short. And we are back with working on the Temple of Ianite. So I did a few touch-ups off camera since previous episode. As you can see, I did a few things to the interior side of what was situated for the wall previously. I've also more so situated the walls more decoratively on the front side, which in turn really makes it a little nicer on the eyes and a little less plain. And as you can see down there, I also set the rest of the pillars down to the ground, or what counts as a ground, I guess. And I'm sure some of you have also recalled and are wondering, what about over here? I mean, doesn't this not connect right straight down? It was a ledge. Well, yes it was. So I figured I would try something a little different with that. And it's not exactly symmetric with that part over there from one side to the other, which makes it a little more believable in one kind of sense, and a little more as it should feel. In fact, I kind of want to add this in. Or, yeah, back to this. Now, add on to its uneven feeling, and like that part isn't exactly as supportive as the others. So that's the trade of thought going into that one. But I've more so spent time like trying to situate these walls. I just really want something going with these walls. I want them going places, and I want them to become more wall-like. I want pathways. I want pathways situated. I was originally going to make this a little more enclosed, but I haven't figured out how I would want to do that. Actually, maybe I might want to start from something like this. How many is that? 4, 5, 6. Maybe. Thus, we can just sort of make the pathway basically impossible to cross. In terms of height, actually, what I might do for this spot particularly is a little different. A little different. It doesn't have to be super different, just enough. Enough to make it a little less silly and a little more interesting. A little more intriguing. While I still have this kind of in my head, I feel obligated to copy that down to the other side. Let me just double check how high this is. I believe it's 6. Yep, 6. And then 1. And 2. And then 1. 6, 1, 2, 1. That should be roughly easy. fact, that's basically it right there. What? Okay, yeah, that's what I needed to count. Okay. So this here. And it's supposed to end right there, as I recall. That's enough for there. I'm going to do that to this side with 3. Then all the way back over here to copy that over there. Wait, what? Oh. I see the problem here. Super sneaky, you almost got away with it too, if it weren't for those meddling kids. And their ocelot cat too. That secretly doesn't know it's an ocelot. Let's do those on the top of the slabs, make them less jumpable. Okay. Well, I'm going to cut for a bit, and I will be right back when I have something a little more interesting going. Fantastic news, everyone. The owl is moved. He's finally moved and out of my way. This is amazing news. I am most happy with this news because that means I can get myself like is that still there? Yes, it is. That means I can get a much better point of view for like screenshots of this. You thought the owl was probably the only change I was gonna show of things being put around in crazy ways. Nope, there's much more to that. I did some more wall, and I got these about. Now, to clarify, these are MC edited in. These are perfect spheres. Perfect spheres. 16 diameter in all ways. And they look nice. When I put these in, I was thinking ender pearls. Like someone suggested on DeviantArt that I make this maybe add a little more end to the build. And then I realized, how can I add more end to the build? It's a build about Ianite, a temple dedicated to Ianite. What's a good way to go about this? And I was looking around, and I seen this, and I was thinking, ender pearls. Most definitely ender pearls. So yeah, we got these here in random orientation, or at the very least semi-random. About as random as I could figure out at the time. And with this kind of color, they actually do kind of look like ender pearls. Like, this was the closest color I could think of to an actual ender pearl. And these are like the elder ender pearls or something. It's a shame you can't throw ender pearls when you're in creative. Like, I can understand this to, like, to reduce lag, and you can already fly around to basically anywhere, but still, that is a bit of a shame. So yeah, this is looking quite lovely. There's still a few things I need to touch up, and then pretty soon we'll be able to put more roofing on. Like, I do have some ideas in mind. Like, people have made a few suggestions here and there, and I do listen to suggestions. I don't just simply blow it off and be like, no, this is not simply like that. I'll try to figure out what they're thinking about. Like, I want to look at things a little more closely and a little more thorough and make sure I'm not missing anything. Like, I am an artist. I want your opinions. Like, that's how I am. Like, that's kind of what I like to do in the fields of doing art. Like, I like to make things, I like to hear opinions and criticisms and such. Like, hell, I'll even take people being like, you spent way too much time on this, you have like no life, and I'll be like, psh, not enough waste of life, you mean? Because actually, I've been doing this pretty lazily. Like, you would think I've probably been doing this like every day for hours and hours and hours and hours on end and just like forget what everything else is with this much detail. But really, I've only done it for like 2-3 hours max per video. Well, except for like the surprise project one, where I like started off when I was like an armor stand of me with like a redstone torch in hand and stuff. And I was like, not. Like, that was the one time. So yeah. Hmm. Honestly, that was probably the most time I actually spent doing anything of this. Is like the earlier episodes. Like, after that, I actually only spent like a couple, maybe like 3 or 4 hours tops. Yep, this actually took the most time out of anything else here. I find this actually kind of funny. But if you look at it carefully and think about what it takes to make all of this, it's believable actually. But one thing I think might also be a thing for for what else I have to do for this is I might actually need more space. It troubles me to think of that, but I might I actually might need more space. That's such a terrifying thought. I mean, let me put it this way, like I didn't even think I was gonna need this much space, but you know what? I actually might. I might actually need more space. Just to fit, like, maybe a bit more island and, like, some wall around it. It's just, oh man. Ugh. You have no idea how I feel just thinking about that. Oh man. This is insanity. I mean, just with this. Although, one thing's for sure. The sides are not gonna take me as much time for sure. The back, I might do a little extra work to, but the sides, it can be plain and simple. Sides of structures can get away with that. Like, if anything, maybe it'll be like a repeated, specialized detail of sorts, but other than that, the sides aren't anything to go absolutely nuts on for when it comes to builds of this sort. So yeah, that's not very concerning. But yeah. How I'm to do the back, I'm not entirely sure yet. I haven't thought that out at all. Actually, it's just now I put a little thought like it. Like maybe there'll be like a slightly bulgy looking spot with like some special decorations and maybe a window or something, and then we'll probably just like dome over this a bit, and maybe it'll be like a dragon on top or something, or some kind of pattern over the dome. Yeah, I've been having thoughts, but I haven't exactly planned it out to say. I've actually put more time thinking about how I'm going to be doing the roof before that. And believe me, I have a lot of interesting ideas for a roof. Like, as you can see, I already started with this. Now, picture it this way. I've been thinking with these colors. And I've also been thinking how I'm going to make it go over this. I've been thinking of other places to be. And something else I'm not so sure I mentioned about is that while off camera, I started up a bit of a pathway here. Now, I wasn't originally going to have any form of pathway here, but it is here now. Now, here's kind of what I'm thinking with this pathway. For these pathways, I should say. It's a bit of a pairing. Like, I kind of wanted to have a special spot to sort of like hang out. And then these pathways coming through the rings will go to some place of significance to this temple itself. Maybe even a couple places. I'm not entirely sure yet, but I definitely want it to go in front. These two with the rings to go have a pathway going in front of this to where people could kind of look out there and also like get just like that sort of like slightly higher and better point of view on this. Like, it's art. I expect people to like be able to see it better and get that fuller sense of appreciation that you don't get otherwise. If you want it to be like done more fairly, more honestly, like the stuff like that I kind of enjoy in the artistic fields is like making something and like hearing people's thoughts about it, and I just really enjoy that. And I want to make it as fair and doable as possible. Like, I don't want it to be, like, really rough in one way or another. I want it to be pretty fair. Yeah. So, convenience is something I do put into consideration. By all means. Convenience is definitely something I think about when I make stuff like this. Like, I'm thinking I'll start off like a pathway all the way over here again and just like make it go up somehow. Yeah. Almost choked a bit. Anyway. But yeah, make it go up somehow to like the slightly higher of locations and just like have this better point of view, and maybe there'll be like something else somewhere nearby or about. I do want more places to go to, so I am going to try to figure that out. If necessary, I will remove certain bits and redirect them to places. Like, I'm thinking I would probably target this before other spots, but yeah. I mean, this is a bit of like a plain location. Like, by all means, the wall isn't plain, but this kinda is. Like, it isn't eye-soaringly plain, but it's just about the plainest thing here. Like, you feel like you could probably make it, like, a little more elaborate. Which is kind of what I want to go for. Forgot to add to this. I think I finished it better on the other side. But let's finish this piece up, because I kind of left it a little too alone. It's dangerous to go alone. Take this. Let me see what I did to this other side. I thought I connected them. Okay, apparently not. What about this stuff? You know what? Let's just connect them casually. Just nice and casual, nice and simple. There's no need as of yet to go any more complicated than that, but eventually we might come up with something. We'll do this. If I am not mistaken, I need to make more of these about. I should see what I did underneath first. Okay, where does that line meet at? Let's make that easier to figure out, because I see a bit of a pattern going. Man, I just remember doing this part in like spots like over there and such. Oh man, that was annoying to do, because I had like these spots here which would just like stop me on my way up or down, and I'll be like, and just like bump my head or something. Oh. Have I ever mentioned that I dislike trying to make zigzaggy patterns? Or at least zigzaggy patterns of this sort. Because it looks like it should be doable pretty quickly with like just a... But then when you actually like try it, it's like, why don't you do this correctly for me more easily? Oh. let's just do that on this side, and I'll be able to toss another brick for whatever I want to mess around with next. I say, place thyself correctly. Ah, itch. Let's place them right. Okay. Yep. Okay, that's correct. Now for some of the nicer looking stuff to it. Keeps it from being too plain. Too airplane. Too plainer. With your linear and quadratic equations and stuff. Yeah, we don't need that up in here. Well, maybe the linear stuff, but the quadratic, oh no, I'm staying away from that. Like, it's not that I can't handle quadratic formula, it's just, I had my share with chemistry. Oh, where's that? Okay, that'll be easier to figure out from the top, I think. Yeesh. Oh. Dang it. Okay, now this side. Again, easier from the top, not from the bottom. I just stop like that? Dare I just stop like that? Dare I? And I guess I'll just, like, get that sort of going over here now. And I'll be back in a second. Okay, so I finished those touch-ups to those bits and basically just added onto them just slightly, but mainly these two closer to the middle. Because those are the ones that actually kind of needed some of the stuff. Like out here, these are perfectly fine where they are. They have stuff complementing them already and all that jazz. These now have like these strips here on the sides to add a little more detail and such in borderline. And then I added the andesite, the polished andesite blocks here at every other. They're like opposite of how these are. So yeah, that looks pretty cool, I think. Now, something I really need to figure out is what I want to do about this. There's a little too much random space here, and that needs to be resolved. Now, at first, because of the blocks in my inventory, I wanted to pick... Stepped on the cord. Stepped on the cord. Now, as I was saying, initially I was going to grab diorite because of this, because it was already in my inventory. But I realize now, looking at it a little better, that I should pick a color that I haven't used in a while. And a color I haven't used in a while. Bam. I think this should do quite nicely, actually. And I should work on it from this side. But from what point? Honestly, I'm thinking too thick should be good, actually. Ah. So yeah, I think this will be a very good addition for this. I'm also thinking I will do this with it. That will add a little something more to this. And also continue the color a little more. Now, with that bit done like so, I must say, it does look pretty nice. It was definitely a good choice of color for that part. I shall do that to this side also. As I recall, too thick like so, and get rid of that one. I'm not missing you, fella. All you pillars are insanity to navigate around. All these pillars and strips and archways and walkways and more strips and pillars. Just fill this in. Let's do it like this. There. That doesn't look too bad on this end. Like, certainly there's going to be a few more things here and there. Let's take a good look at it from the other side. Yeah, that's acceptable. Well, I think that'll have to do for now. Thank you so much for watching. I am 41 Solstice 25. Hope you all liked it. Hope you all enjoyed. Hope you maybe even got a bit of inspiration for building or something. If you have any suggestions for something I could be doing to this, feel free to leave one below. Maybe even two if you feel like it. Like, say a room or something for the roof or something to make this less flat. Feel free to leave it in the comments. Other than that, thank you so much for watching again, and have a good day. Bye bye.